Namaskar.
Namaskar.
It's a it's a very colorful day today for our university, the Royal Global University. At the outset, heartiest congratulations to
Thank
you,
you. Thank you.
Professor Dr. Amarjyoti Choudhury, for joining our university as Professor Emeritus and the chair for the Dr. Bhupen Hazarika Center for Creativity. It's almost like a memorable occasion balancing knowledge, music, songs, and every cultural aspect in the lines of education. We welcome you to our university, sir, and it's been immensely delightful for all of us here. At the very outset, we would like to know from you what is your vision of bringing education and our university closer to the society?
Yes, when we were studying, universities used to be quite like ivory towers, and whatever the teacher would think about, he would decide the kind of course, whatever he would teach. Everything was dictated by the teacher, irrespective of the feelings or the concerns of the learner. So learner was missing from the scene totally. So it is very fortunate that things have changed. Over the years, we have seen how the old view or the old concept of the university has tumbled down, and in its place, we have seen gradually a new kind of university coming up where the voice of the learner is also being heard.
Right.
So that is one good thing. But even then, this question used to bother me, and I was pointedly asked by a cultivator who actually invited me for a meeting and a kind of lunch at a place called Duni. So I went there, and we had the meeting. This meeting was organized by something known as Gorokia Hoba. Gorokia Hoba means the meeting of the those who attend to the cows and other things. So those people, they came, they had their meeting, annual meeting, and then we had lunch, sitting down on the floor, and then one of the cultivator, he came very close to me, and he said, "I have a problem, sir." I said, "What is the problem?" He said, I have a son who was actually sent to the university, not only by me, not only by my cash, but by the generous donation of the entire community, so that we could learn from him later on, so that society could benefit. So he has gone through it. So I said, he doesn't send you money? No, he sends money. He has got a job. He has got a job. He has passed out nicely. He has passed out nicely. I said, what is the problem? Then this man said, but sorry to say, sir, he is not useful to us.
So it's pointless.
That is the point. He has not been, and it is not that he is not trying. He has been trying his utmost, but then somehow he is not useful to us. So can you not devise something so that we can have people who are useful to the society? That was the very pointed question he asked me, and I still remember. And then, so the universities have come a long way, we must say, have generated lots of knowledge. Everything is done. And then there are, even now, whenever we say it is connected to the people, that sort of thing is not yet quite visible in our society. So our first concern as an educator should be that our education becomes useful to the society. But if it has to become useful to the society, then the learner, in fact, only the other day, I remember one of my a young girl whom I call my granddaughter, although she is not really my granddaughter. then I fondly call her as my granddaughter. So she came to me and she told me that she told me that education has now become something like Swiggy people, that our teachers have become, they just deliver. They do not ask us, they do not provoke us, they do not inspire us. Nothing is, so everything is mechanical. So we come to the class, we go to the class and we pass it and we get good grades and then we pass on to the society. Totally incapable of delivering the goods to the society.
True. And like we thought of, that we will have a center of creativity, Dr. Bhupen Hazarika Center of Creativity, culminating with the centenary celebrations. What do you think with this center, we should be able to bridge the gap between culture and education? What are your thoughts in this regard?
Exactly. So, if we think that our education is to be useful to the society, so it must be able to think new. New things must come to our mind very naturally. So, what is that creative process that we can bring into our studies? And why Dr. Bhupen Hazarika for that matter? First of all, yes, he had this ingenious capacity for making everything very creative. Whenever we used to meet him, when he was cooking, for example, when he was mixing lai hak and making chicken with lai hak, he used to cut it in such a fashion that even I think the best of our cooks, best of the chefs would be put to shame, because it was such a sight that you can immediately say that it's very pleasing to the eye. And the moment you see it, you feel like eating it, having a bite. And the other, whenever he creates a song, I have seen the first, we were fortunate in the sense, those days, that we could see the process of a song coming alive.
Right.
Okay, how it was written, then how he has put to music, and the way he used to do it was very creative. I mean, always he used to think, no, this part is coming very run-of-the-mill song, so we have to change it. And he would have very strange ideas. Suddenly something would come to him. So how these new ideas used to come to him. So creativity, he is a person who is synonymous with creativity. So that is why that image, that thing, that understanding, we want to bring it closer to the society, closer to the student community, so that they feel inspired to think anew. That they are simply passing on, getting the good marks is not enough. If we have to be useful to the society, if we have to be really enjoying our life, have a satisfied life, then we need to be useful to the society, and we can be useful to the society only when we are creative. So this is what is the order of the day.
Right.
As I say, the university has come a long way from the earlier time, and it has, yes, indeed put in efforts to bring in these new ideas, calling it innovation and other things. But these are, I would say that these are limited in the sense that this has not got its full scope. We have to change it.
Right.
So how do we do it?
June 2nd is almost like a very auspicious date in our university. First, the creation of the center, getting its birth today, and also you joining us as Professor Emeritus. Today morning, when you walked into the university, when you did your floral tribute at the Hudakanto Point, as a bystander, it was almost like watching a play, for me personally. And these were the thoughts that you had initially. So how do you see theatre coming into academics and bridging that gap and bringing students more closer? We use theatre for our subjects at times. I've seen that happen, seen in schools. But What are your thoughts in this regard of bringing theatre more closer to education and interdisciplinary activities?
So I believe theatre is a very, very convenient medium for having compassion. First of all, whenever you enact a role, you get into that role, you feel one with that role, someone apart from you. It's not you, but you are feeling him intimately. So this is the first thing of compassion. And our education mostly has been, I would say, not got to the right point because it doesn't instill in a student that idea of compassion. The way we are teaching it is very mechanical. The compassion point is not, it is as if compassion is irrelevant. How much mark you get, that is the more important thing. So things have to change. Compassion has to come. And theatre is a very good way of doing that. In fact, theatre, I remember Peter Brooks, for example, when he wrote a book called Empty Space. And there he questioned that what is the minimal thing that we need in order so that it's a theatre, so that it's a play. So he said you can get off with the stage, it is not necessary. Sometimes it is also not necessary to have the costume of the king or the makeup. Sometimes he says that even the script may not be there. We can impromptu act out whatever is happening.
Carry on, take it forward.
Yes. So, and the lights may not be necessary the way it is, normal light, so that it is visible. These are the so if you go on minimizing what are the components necessary, it is only the actor and the audience. And he says that education is also very similar in that it also needs only the teacher and the student. So drama and the education per se have got lots of similarities. And so if you go deep into drama and if you allow student to be a part of the drama or dramatic activities, it is like being a part of the education itself. On top of it, you also imparting or you also helping him to be more compassionate, which normally doesn't come through usual text.
Academic and community engagement and the process of learning. So you've been emphasizing, like when we do our theatre, when we do our plays, last play that we did together, Ami Asu, you've given that name with a lot of thought. And I would say personally, when I directed the play, for me it was a lot of community engagement coming into place. So what is your idea of community engagement, the academic environment and learning per se?
Yes, basically education in the best of the universities are not formal lectures nowadays. It's group activities. For example, let me talk about not something from this arts section, but let us come to pure science, hardcore science, so physics. So what do you do there? So normally the idea was that the teacher would go on lecturing whatever he's explaining. But things have changed. You go to any of the good universities, yes, some part the teacher will say. The rest of the things, they will encourage you to talk amongst yourself and have an idea and then explain. And the teacher would be very much there and you'd see if there are some wrong, at any point if there are some wrong moves or wrong bends, then he would point it out. But otherwise it's a group activity, just like a play. In plays also we develop that group activity, and that's why plays and the whole act of learning are very similar.
And the engagement, of course.
Engagement is so important.
Right. And would you recall one of those very special moments during, or that phase of time in your days in the University of Oxford? Do you recall anything very special that you want to share with us as a scholar of physics then?
The whole idea is that you see whenever you go to a good university in the sense that university is a good university where you see many different ideas coming. How will these different ideas come? If there are people from all different sections of the universe, that is why university.
Right.
University is because we say that it should have people from all different sections of the society. So, Assam Royal Global University that way is a good place because it does not have a monochrome of students. You find students coming from Assam, you find students from Arunachal and Meghalaya and Nagaland for that matter. So and also some parts from other parts of India. So that way it's a good mix. But more broader you can make it, it's still broad. And in Oxford we had the opportunity that it used to be a place where there were students from all different parts of the world. So how a Venezuelan, for that matter, thinks, how is he different from me in thinking? He may look different, but he is still, I know as a student of science that the atoms and the molecules that are here on my this hand are quite similar to him, are absolutely similar in fact. They may have different composition, the different amounts of one particular atom in his hand, but then otherwise it's the same. And these are the atoms that have come from the distant star, and they have come as stardust and have given birth to us. So that we know. But then what is the way how is his way of thinking different? So that we could see very, very clearly when we were at a good university.
And I'm very curiously asking you this question.
Yeah.
Like, with a very similar experience that we grew up in Ulaanbaatar, and Ulaanbaatar being the helm of creativity, of business per se, and everything, you name it, it was there. And you've seen more of Ulaanbaatar than I have. But what are your reflections from being, raised in that milieu? The river, the Bhaskar Natya Mandir, your luminary father, and I was lucky enough to watch performances sitting on his lap, and that's how we all grew up. And I think the cultural seed that was sown. And when you were in Oxford, did you see any similarity between your days in Oxford and how you were raised in Ulaanbaatar, Guwahati?
Yes. One particular thing that was very visible was that when I was in Oxford and when we were in close contact with people from all different sections, all different parts of the world, and I could see that we are all alike. We have similar hopes and aspirations. We are same people, but we are all same people. And here also, when in Ulaanbaatar, for example, the small part of the Guwahati city where I was born and I was raised and where I studied, I could see that these ideas that the people are saying, these concepts were given to us. Maybe I think you'll be very fascinated to know that this idea was given to me by someone selling fish in the fish market at Ulaanbaatar. In fact, what I was trying to do. In fact, my mother taught me that whenever you choose a particular piece of fish, see that you try to touch it and see if it goes too deep, then it's not a right kind of fish. So I was playing like this in all different parts of the spaces, and one of them said, "Are you playing harmonium?"
The harmonium.
And I was very offended. But then I said, "I will not come back to your place anymore." And the way that lady used to teach me humility, the first lessons of humility was taught to me by that lady. And then when I went back to Oxford, and I could see the kind of humility with which professor used to teach. They would say that I might be wrong. Try me and prove me wrong if it is possible. And they would provoke us. And I remember that there's this Institute of Physics called Institute of Theoretical Physics. It was run by Niels Bohr, the famous quantum physicist. And he was asked, why is your institute so famous? Why everybody wants to come to your institute? Even Einstein wants to come here, though he is one of your opponents. Why does he want to come here? He said, because this is the only institute where students will be waiting every day to prove that I am wrong. And I say, never I have, I was angry with them. So this is the beauty. This is the beauty. So you have to tolerate, you know that you may be wrong. You do not know everything. Not all you have only limited perspectives as a human being, and others' perspective may be right. So this is what comes. If you learn to respect others' ideas, listen to them at least, new thoughts, new ideas may come. These are the sources of creativity. So I believe that our university will also cater to these ideas, bring in new ideas. What are the new ideas that we can bring in not only in arts or or social sciences, but also in physics, also in chemistry, also in food technology for that matter.
To bring this discussion to a close, how excited are you personally to head the Dr. Bhupen Hazarika Center for Creativity here at the Royal Global University?
I'm very excited because the people around are excited. They also have equal enthusiasm. They also are a part of this whole process and part of this dream that I originally had. And so that it is not only bringing Dr. Bhupen Hazarika's memory alive. Yes, that is a part of it, but then it is a part of the whole process of creativity being, lifted to such a level that it helps the society all across. That is the basic idea that we have, or the fantastic idea that we have.
Thank you so very much. And once again, from the very inner part of our hearts, congratulations once again
Thank you.
for being
Thank
a
you so
part
much.
of our happiness. Namaskar.
Namaskar.